I've been in the kindness space actively for the last 2 years as a systems architect, thought leader, and consultant, but I've been campaigning for kindness my entire life in some way for as long as I can remember. And yet, I feel that that journey and that activism was incomplete and in some ways deficient because I had been neglecting the most fundamental dimension of compassion, and that is the one towards the self. And while a single video cannot suffice, and perhaps I'll make one, a full one on YouTube in the future, on what self-love really is, I just want to say that the TikTok version of 12 products on your face, robotic affirmations, sky-high, walled-over boundaries that place you on the pedestal and do not consider the humanness of others, gym selfies without real regard for the emotional wealth from within, is not self-love. It's narcissism dressed in the consumerist pink bow. It does not serve you, and it certainly does not serve others. And in what way can that be self-love? In what way can self-love encourage you to cut people off because of these invisible, merciless, rigid boundaries and standards that even you do not uphold? How can it be self-love when it is so placed in this masquerade, this Instagram, social media feed friendly, clean schedule from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. when it does not involve you looking into the mirror and addressing the very demons that get in the way of you being at peace within your own soul? How can it be self-love, genuine self-love, when it sees the problem out there and in everyone else and refuses to see the common denominator of all of those interactions, which is yourself? This is not victim blaming and victim shaming. I come from a lineage, I come from an extensive history of adversity, of difficulty, and of some really creative trauma. This comes from someone who genuinely wishes sincere, true, and deep-rooted self-love that is genuine confidence that sits and holds hands with self-acceptance, with boundaries that also consider the humanity within others, with bedtime routines that are stocked pile high with lots and lots of products and lots of beauty treatments which you absolutely deserve, but also your capacity to look into the mirror and have the courage to look eye to eye and pen to paper to funnel through and channel the heaviest parts of your soul that you've almost refused to meet, perhaps because there's shame, perhaps because it involves the right of someone else that you have overlooked or refused to see, but most importantly, or perhaps most fundamentally, because that is the reason that everything else happens, is the pain of what it means to separate yourself from an identity that has been serving you and serving your parents. We need to reshape and rehabilitate self-love and extract it away from this consumerist perspective and look upon it as what it really is: self-compassion, self-kindness, an instrument towards genuine and sincere self-acceptance and also self-accountability. We need to bring back the humanness, the organicism, and the sincerity of what we have otherwise, yet again, like everything else, merely commercialized. And this is coming from someone who has pretty much neglected the self-kindness in place of this chivalrous form of compassion, and struggled because self-love looked this way. Self-love was colonized again by narcissism, colonized again by charisma and the outward appearance, rather than the capacity to look into the mirror and think, the problems that I face, I am the common denominator. The relationships that have failed, I am the common denominator. Not to self-flagellate, but to give the self a true chance at living and reconciling with a soul that has been seeking peace, not just the appearance of it.